Bargain Quest is a game where players get to fulfill their lifelong aspirations of running an RPG item shop. Don't laugh, these item shop NPCs are some of the most important people encountered over the course of any grand adventure. Because without them, just what are all these mighty heroes going to enter the dungeons with? Sticks and stones? Bah! If only people knew. The object of the game is to be running the most profitable and talked about shop in the entire city, with victory points awarded through star points gained and cold hard cash. The game plays over a variable number of rounds and lasts until players have, well, played their part in ridding the town of the sources of impending doom. There are 3 waves of monsters, each more devastating than the last, and the players, well, it's their job to equip brave heroes with the tools they need to defeat them and survive. Wait, hang on, sorry. This just in, that is secondary. Players' main goal is to make sure that whether or not the hero is successful in their quest, that they part with their own coin at the player's store. To set up, each of the 2 to 6 players will take one of the shopfront player boards and $5 whole, more than enough to make a splash. The centerpiece of the playing area is going to be the monster deck, as you saw, consisting of a level 3, level 2 and a level 1 monster. We begin by shuffling our level 3 monsters, grab one at random and we place it on the table. We do the same for the level 2 monsters, so shuffle them up, place it out. And lastly, our number 1s. Now I've got all my expansion monsters in there, but the base game comes with 4 of each, which should provide plenty of replayability. Above the monster deck, we place a pile of star tokens and wound tokens. To the left of the star tokens, we place the hero deck, and we're going to be drawing 1 hero for every player at the table. So for a 4-player game, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Easy as. Next to the hero deck, we're going to place a towering deck of item cards. These cards will be used to form the player's hand throughout the game. Over the other side, we have the employee deck, which players will be able to utilize during the upgrade phase to hire new employees, granting special abilities unique to each player. Next to the employee deck, we're going to place 2 piles of upgrade cards, which can be purchased by players to grant very specific abilities. These will always be available to players during the upgrade phase. Finally, rounding things out, we place the adventure deck, which helps to randomize things when the players go out to fight the monsters. And we throw out a big pile of money, which players are going to be utilizing throughout the game. In fact, we're going to use some right now, giving some money to our adventurers. Our mage over here needs 20. Our Sohai over here needs 20, our Cleric only 15, and then the Demon Slayer 25. They are a very wealthy adventurer. Let's just hope they come to my store. Each round is broken up into 6 phases. In the supply phase, we begin by flipping over the top card of the monster deck if it's not yet been revealed. This is the monster that our heroes will attempt to fight this round, with the main things to note being the monster's defense value, its attack value, and any special rules that may come about thanks to its presence. In this case, the ogre gains 1 additional point of attack for every wound he has on it. Next, players are dealt 4 cards into their hand. These cards comprise the items available during the round, items to sell and items to display. Players will select a card to keep and pass the remaining cards along, repeating the process until they have 4 new items for their store. As for determining which items are valuable and ultimately which ones you should keep, well, there are a couple of things to note. Item cards have 4 main features. The price, this is the amount a hero will pay to receive the item. Class icons, these determine the types of heroes that can wield the weapon, and in conjunction with the appeal symbols, determine which heroes can actually enter your shop. And finally, most items have an attack and defense modifier affecting the hero wielding it. Some cards may also have a special ability. These are carried out as written and are very easy to decipher once familiar with the rules. The second phase is the display phase. Here, players will select an item drafted to act as their store's display item for the round. Here, players should be mindful of the class icons of the heroes currently in play and the class icons available on their item cards. If there's a valuable hero out there that all players are going to want, a good strategy is to put out a card with a high appeal value. The card is played face down, and once all players have selected their display item, they flip it over and move into the shopping phase. During the shopping phase, players will begin by selecting one of the available heroes to shop at their store. The player with the highest appeal value gets to choose first, noting that at this stage they may only select a hero that matches a class icon on one of their displayed items. Here we have 4 appeal and may only select a fighter. Let's just say in this example, we secure first pick by having the highest appeal value. We would begin by looking for a fighter amongst the available heroes, noting that the only one available is the Demon Slayer here. Look, that's good enough for me. So we're going to take that hero and all of their gold, and we're going to place them in our store. Let's just say the next player only had a rogue item on their displayed item. Looking over at the remaining heroes, we see there are no rogues amongst them. This means that the player must wait until all other players have had a chance to take a hero, and then may choose from any leftovers. The last player to take a hero will also take the quest token, which is used to determine player order through a number of the game's phases. After players have selected their hero, they may then sell any items they have left in hand to the hero in their shop. Again, they must abide by the class items on the hero, only selling items with matching symbols. In this case, our shop could sell a magic wand for $10 and scale mail for $15. Noting now that the hero is now out of money. Even if I had a matching equipment card, I would not be able to sell it to them as they don't have the coin to pay for it. Once all players have had a chance to sell to their heroes, they move into the adventure phase. During the adventure phase, players will be sending off their newly equipped heroes to fight the current round's monster, beginning with the player that has the quest token. Players will need to determine the total attack and defense value of their hero, comparing against the monster, but before heading off to battle, each hero is dealt one of these adventure cards, and these are the randomizers that are going to keep players on their toes. Here, our Demon Slayer gains a +1 attack due to its determined ability, but could have as easily been a -1 due to the nervous trait, or any of these. We have +2s, we have +0s, we have pluses and minuses mixed together on the same card. We have some with rules, and it's these modifiers that will drive players to sometimes over-prepare or even risk a bad turn by under-preparing their hero. Once all adventure cards are handed out, it's time for the players to resolve their hero's attack against the monster, beginning of course with the player with the quest token. From before, the player with the quest token here controlled the cleric hero. We begin by determining their attack value, adding up all of the symbols. So here we have 2 attack for the cleric card itself and +2 more thanks to the equipment purchased. We compare the attack value of 4 against the monster's defense of 4. If the attack value is equal to or greater than the monster's defense, the hero causes a wound and their player gains a star token, which is added towards victory points at the end of the game. After player attacks are resolved, the monster attacks back. Here we have the Angry Ogre with an attack value of 2 +1 thanks to its bad temper. Here the player's cleric has a grand total of 2. 4 thanks to its equipment, but -2 thanks to the adventure card drawn. The monster's attack value of 3 against the defense value of 2 from the hero means the hero is defeated. The hero card is discarded, in addition to any equipment cards they were carrying. The adventure card is returned to the deck, and that will be shuffled again before the next round. It's now time for our Demon Slayer to attack the Angry Ogre with a grand attack value of 5. 5 against the monster's defense gives us a wound, and of course a star token. And then the monster attacks back. Here the Angry Ogre now has 4 attack value against our hero's grand total of 5. If the hero's defense is equal to or greater than the attack of the monster, the hero survives, with their player being awarded a star token again for their efforts. For heroes that survive a monster's attack, they do have to first place the adventure card back in the adventure pile and then discard any equipment they had. See, the equipment gets discarded whether they survive or not, but the hero itself does not get discarded and instead is returned to the available heroes for selection next round. At the end of the adventure phase, we have to determine whether or not the monster was beaten, comparing its wounds to its total hit points. Monsters in Bargain Quest will always have hit points equal to the total number of players. So in this 4-player game, the monster only has 2 wounds scored against it. This means the monster is still alive and will need to be dealt with next round. In saying that though, our surviving heroes do not return home empty-handed, gaining a small reward for their troubles. This reward can be found in the bottom left of the monster card. Here, the Angry Ogre offers 10 gold to each of its surviving heroes. If instead the monster is defeated, we use the number situated in the bottom right-hand corner of the card, awarding heroes a far greater amount of coin to spend. After money is handed out for every hero that was defeated over the course of the adventure phase, one more is drawn. Cards are placed out, money is added, and we move to the upgrade phase. This is the point in time where players will get to spend their hard-earned gold. Setting up for the upgrade phase, players will need to draw 2 cards from the employee deck, creating the pool of available cards for purchase. Players will take it in turns, beginning with the player with the quest token, choosing one of the available cards to purchase. The persistent upgrades, the display upgrade, and the storage upgrade are always available to players throughout. These cards cost $10 a piece and grants the player's shop a little extra flexibility in one way or another. The display upgrade allows players to put multiple items on display, increasing the total appeal value that's possible on any round. The storage upgrade allows players to store additional cards from round to round, but you'll see that in action very soon. If a player chooses to purchase one of the employee cards, they pay the coin value to the bank and take the card, placing it in their employee slot. A new card is drawn immediately and the next player chooses. For our store, I'm thinking we should purchase the display upgrade for 10. We take the upgrade card and place it in our upgrade slot. Once all players have upgraded, we move into the storage phase. Here, players take back the item on display in their shop and evaluate their hand, because between rounds, players are able to store 1 card to increase their options next round. In fact, this is 1 card plus any bonuses from display upgrades. In our case, we may store 2 cards between rounds. We'll chuck them face down on our player mat, and once everyone's finished with the storage round, we move back around to the supply. If a monster is defeated, we reveal the next one in the stack. 4 new cards are dealt to be drafted, and the game continues. At the end of the adventure phase, where the level 3 monster has been defeated, the game ends immediately with no additional money being added to the heroes. Players gain 1 point for every star token they have, and 1 point for every $10 they have. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins, with the tiebreaker being the player with the most money. And in the event there is still a tie, players enjoy a shared victory. Nah. Alright, let me begin by saying that Bargain Quest is my absolute go-to for lightweight gaming right now. It's not because I'm playing it heaps, like introducing new people to the scene. It's not because it plays quickly or that it saves a bunch of shelf space sitting there in a tiny box. My reason is that right now, I would play this game over any other main course game around, because pure and simple, it is wonderfully fun and it gets me. Guys, I love being an item shop NPC. I guess it boils down to the so many years of playing RPGs of all kinds. I'm talking all the Baldurs, the Icewinds, the Final Fantasies, the Diablos, farming away in Harvest Moon on the 64 or on the go with Stardew Valley. Through each of these games, a seed was planted, and now we bloom and I am hooked. Taking an objective look, there's not much to get your head around here. Players will essentially be bidding cards to have the opportunity to score the cards that remain. See, I put this game in a similar category as titles such as Dungeon Lords and Galaxy Truckers, where the actual gameplay side of things is secondary to the game's scoring mechanism. I mean, you draft your cards, pick your heroes, sell them your stock. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but after that you get to sit back and watch a whole adventure unfold. So you really don't have any decisions to make during the adventuring phase. You're not actually doing anything, just watching, seeing plain and simple how well your preparations pay off against what is mostly a known situation. But despite the whole non-event of it all, it's ultimately the most rewarding aspect of the gameplay. You're going to be cheering and heckling away at those heroes on the table. You'll be congratulating your opponents on a job well done or relishing in their failure. It's a full-on spectacle, like going to the Colosseum seeing the gladiators, right? And it's because of this you never really feel like you're playing on your own. I mean, technically the only player interaction in the game is the drafting of the cards, the selection of the heroes, and maybe the upgrades. But joining together and watching all of your heroes go out and face the monster, that is a very communal thing. And it brings everyone together. It's not all fun and games though. There are some decisions to be made. Item selection can be excruciatingly painful during both the draft and display phases, and even deciding what to sell to whom. In fact, I think they've done a marvelously good job at balancing the cards. I mean, so many times I've looked at my hand and seen so many impossible decisions. It's wonderful. Anyway, that's probably enough of me prattling on and on. If you've enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and do all the things that you guys can do to help this channel grow. But besides that, we are done. So, as always, my name's Michael. This is Bits Aboard. We'll catch you next time.